Okay, so I'm sorry. I keep forgetting to say this, but um, when I was growing up, this is, I'm just gonna go right. When I was growing up, my brothers were growing up with men that were pro drugs and that sort of thing. So, as I said, my dad ended up, kicking my mom's ass because my mom wanted to act like she was actually like I don't really have a lot of respect for my mom just because of the relationship that she got into next, but also the way that she treats me and the way that she wants me to live my life. She wants my son to also be a drug dealer like my brother was, and she wants the same fate for me that she had because that is her sick mentality. I can't respect that. When you're a person that is against, like for example, the way that she said that she was against my dad because like he used to kick her ass. Well, that's fine. That's wrong. But then do something about it. Don't blame me. Don't blame other people. Don't. So she's unworthy of me. She's unworthy of my kids. That is again who my kids want to spend their holidays with some trashy whore because they want to give her a pass for being old. It sucks because I basically like I boast a little bit of my strength and being a little staying away from harm and trouble and being a leader. Oh no, they just like they want to attack and drag me down. So I wanted to mention that my brother Eric Weezar, whom was actually such I admired him very much, and it just really shows how when people want to separate you and the people that admire and love you and that would be there for you want to actually come between, they will, and it's going to be very strong. So that's when we came pulled apart, and then comes in this wetback criminal person, Sylvia Castellanos, and her family, which my mom, Maria Rodriguez, allows. And, they're like, Rodriguez Castellanos. Like, I'm not proud of that. Okay. They, so, they're dealing drugs the whole time. I mean, they have like white trash people, even people from Hollywood, perhaps, like, so I come back from Mexico. I'm like 14, 15. I'm like, what the fuck? What? My grandma would never, like but now you have Nereida and Elizabeth that are also slutty fucking whores of who knows who, right? Like they're like fucking drug dealing bitches that want me to be them. I can't be you. I can't be you. Okay. I can't. I married a crackhead because I knew that I was going to leave him to show you that I didn't have to be in an abusive relationship, which, you know, mea culpa, like that's my only responsibility I take is I wanted to show you whores what it is you have to do to actually live in through a relationship that you can't get through. Now, if you're trying to burden me with your sorry, sick lives now because I succeeded at defeating your own theories for me or whatever plan you had, you know what? God has a plan for me. Your plan has been debunked over and over and over. So you have to go away. This is where I have to mention that Octavio Padilla, whom is a drug dealer that was dealing drugs with my brother, Eric Weezar. Eric Weezar was killed in Mexico. People try to tell me that he was killed in an accident. They try and fool my kids that he was killed in an accident. How is that an accident? A person that sure, he was dealing drugs with Octavio Padilla. He has a sister, Guadalupe Padilla. He and they all know and Victor de la Torre and Victor de. So all these like people that are trying to put me down for never dealing drugs, you need to get help. You need to get put away. You need to have your and any person that I date in the future has to know that you are probably going to come after them because you want them to think that they deal drugs, except for, of course, the actual drug dealer of Ruben Bustamante Silva, which is the only person that I was like, okay, like this is where it all started. You just all have to learn to not deal drugs. Okay. There's just nothing more than that. My brother was not the only person dealing drugs with him. There's a lot of people. And the whore of Sylvia Castellanos does not get the satisfaction of being a better person because she was a one man whore. You were still a whore. You kept on going back to him like he was your papi chulo, right? Well, you incentivized him because you're trash. Did I incentivize Ruben Silva for why did the crackhead have a job the whole time, but your sorry ass could like was always in turmoil? And why do I have to walk in your shoes now? Is that ridiculous or what? You play games and you deal drugs and you want everybody else to be the same person. Let me go ahead and say how you only take advantage of me because of the party that's allegedly in power, even though the Democrats had to actually thieve it. Only thieves had to go out and get whatever votes they needed in order to progress the agenda of these wetbacks. Like, you know, it's not like a wetback like like my grandpa came here as a bracero. I mean, it's like, you know, like trash. I can't even say the name Mexican next to them. They're like little creatures full of trash. And you have to basically understand that people are going to have to hold you accountable. And if you want if you don't want to be held accountable for anything, like if you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime, etc., you are sometimes people I think try to like pretend like they're like some kind of like in like what are those people called, like they give like secrets to the police department, like the undercover cop. Some people try to pretend like, I'm just an undercover cop. No, you're a fucking whore. You're a whore. You're a drug dealer. Don't try to blame me for it. You're like lousy. This is what California has become is a bunch of sorry losers that want to like pretend to always be like the undercover and then eventually just become like sorry losers, like. And the only reason that I want to stand up to it is because I'm not the person that wants like to be pork funded by Eric Garcetti or like Gavin Newsom. So like anybody else that wants to be like pork funded is like, oh, I'll be part funded, but I know at one point I was like trying to like not be like the person that was dealing drugs. Sure. Um, but you're the person that actually would promote that and actually does. So this it's not very complicated, right? It's just more like people don't want to push through the. You know what I can't stand is the glass ceiling. There's no such thing as a glass ceiling. The glass ceiling is just like some dude trying to like fucking try to ugh, make nope. I am just trying to say that Octavio Padilla um was not a friend, was an knew my family well enough. Why was my brother kept a secret from me since I was like 14, like, 13? Like, this is mafia stuff, okay? This is like organized crime. They use people to try and, to get their way. Um, I don't do drug. I'm gonna earn my own money, my own hard money. I'm not gonna go shake my ass like J Lo and be some whore, like some other like prostitute in some other sense of the word either. So I'm not gonna use media. I'm just gonna say, look, this is what's happening is people that are using drugs are also killing people that might not necessarily. They're after my son right now, and my son is gonna go right over to Maria, Rodriguez, Rodriguez. Do you know that Narita Rodriguez has a husband that is a Boeing engineer that started with a company, and then you had like the two Boeing crashes. So I'm not gonna be like the person that they want me to be. Like they were like, oh, Maria part two. Let's just make her be our martyr so that we can just keep dealing drugs for Octavio Padilla and Cesar Casillas and all fat whores that want to go along. Okay, so it's kind of like it's all very premeditated for them, and I'm not supposed to be included in the plan, but I'm gonna make my own plan, and my plan is gonna be God's plan for me. So that's kind of where I am on life, and my kids are gonna go and have dinner with a bunch of drug dealers and people that want to like that cursed me and said that my kids were gonna end up like them, and just fucking losers. Okay. um I'm I thought that I was doing. On the upside, if I had never introduced my kids to these animals, they would I would still be in trouble now. Like, why don't, like, because like of Satan, like, why don't you introduce them to your wetback family? Or why don't, like, and then it would be like some other type of deal. But I chose to treat my kids like they're adults. We're adults. We see what we have in front of us, and let's get on with it.